Chapter E Introduction When top elites collectively suffer intelligence regression. Hello everyone, imagine this picture. In front of you are 500 super elites who have already stood at the top of their industries and possess top-level wisdom. This should have been the smartest group of people in the world. But suddenly, they collectively suffered an intelligence regression. This group of people no longer talks about strategy at work every day, but instead crazily scrolls through brainless short videos. In the tea room, instead of exchanging industry trends, they maliciously chat about colleague gossip. Even more terrifying is that they actually know they have a problem, but they can't stop at all. This is not some Hollywood sci-fi movie setting, but observation report truly recorded in the Buddhist classic The Great Jewel Heap Sutra. Today, we will not talk about religious beliefs at all. What we are going to do is to dig out the ultimate logic about human psychology, habit loops, and why we end up making a mess of ourselves from this ancient literature. These seemingly high and mighty bodhisattvas are actually every one of us who is stuck in a bottleneck in the workplace and kidnapped by bad habits. Chapter R. Interest Transformation. Don't communicate using your moral high ground. To understand how this group of people became useless, we must first look at a completely counterintuitive entry point in this record. Master once mentioned if you want to guide a person, and this person's current driving force is profit-seeking, you must never talk about big principles to him. You must tell him that this dharma is closely related to his interests. In psychology, this is called precise language recoding. The fatal communication one we often commit is to presuppose a moral high ground and use what I think is good to request others. But if a person's brain filtering mechanism only reacts to the word interest, and you talk to him about morality, not only will he not listen, but he will also feel that you are threatening his existing interests, instantly opening his full-body protective shield. Therefore, true wisdom is to translate your demand into a language he cares about. You must prove to him, not talking nonsense and obeying rules are the only defensive lines to protect his real interests. Why do we say so? Because creating verbal karma, that is, habitual complaining and slandering, neurologically strengthens your negativity bias. Your brain will rewrite its hardware and automatically filter out all opportunities, only seeing obstacles. The result is good things will not be done. Bad things will be done once because you push yourself into an environment full of suspicion. Chapter 3. Iron Pot Lit and Karmic Wind. Why want to be good but can't? Next, we dissect the falling status of these 500 bodhisattvas in the Great Jewel Heap Sutra. The record uses for words dull and obscure faculties, fond of clamor and bustle, talking about worldly affairs, and extensively managing numerous duties. Simply put, it means becoming stupid, fond of joining in the fun, gossiping all day long, and extremely blindly busy. They are busy with various meaningless worldly trivial matters, which is called perverted wisdom. The most terrifying part of the state is that they are conscious but powerless. This leads to that extremely visually impactful metaphor in the sutra, the 3 obstructions: karma obstruction, retribution obstruction, affliction obstruction are like a huge iron pot lid. The wisdom those bodhisattvas had in the past has not disappeared, just like money is still in the pocket. But this pot lid, that is, the intense defensive mechanism and cognitive dissonance, has smothered the light tightly. Because of not wanting to face the pain of falling, the subconscious had produced this huge iron plate, refusing to accept real feedback. And what supports this pot lid is that ray of karmic wind. Karmic wind is that kind of inertia push like change tomorrow. Eat 1 more bite. Play 5 more minutes. In front of this force, your dot of weak good thought is like a feather. You want to go in the direction of achieving Buddhahood. The karmic wind blows you in the direction of falling. You want to be good, but you can't be good. You want to change, but you can't move to change. Master said, this kind of karma several kilometers thick. Many of it had been dragged from past Buddha times until now. Mud and dog shit pasted all over. In front of this karmic retribution, you can only endure. Chapter 4. Maitreya's Tactics. Loving speech, unlocking and system rules. Facing this desperate situation sealed by the iron pot lid, the rescuer Maitreya Bodhisattva appeared. His operation demonstrated the calmness and professionalism of a top-level guider. He did not use a bull and a shout to yell loudly, but used loving speech, politely calling them all virtuous ones. This is a kind of unlocking password. When a person's defensive mind reaches the peak, Scolding will only make him clasp the pot lid tighter. Maitreya Bodhisattva was not provoked by the other party's fall. What he saw in his eyes was the pain of the other party being obscured by karma. But immediately following, Maitreya Bodhisattva made a move that confused many people. He took them to see the Buddha. Many people think this is passing the buck, or think that kind of small matter shouldn't trouble the big boss. But here involves a deep logic system rules. Master severely criticized that kind of consideration of wanting to save the supervisor trouble, calling it slighting the Buddha and being slow towards the Dharma. In the system, if you attempt to overstep authority to handle those fundamental problems that only the highest decision maker can cure, you are actually creating an information blind zone. You use compassion to conceal your arrogance, feeling I am smarter than the system rules. Maitreya Bodhisattva kept the bottom line. He obeyed the Bodhisattva rules. Because even if Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva had already achieved Buddhahood long ago, he appeared as a Bodhisattva in front of the teachings of Shakyamuni Buddha. He must also obey rules. Without Buddha's permission, he cannot teach Dharma on his own. Master here especially pierced our arrogance. We often say afraid of tiring Master, afraid of troubling Buddha. So we decide for ourselves. Master spoke bluntly that is violating rules. Finding excuses again is adding sin on top of sin. Chapter Wu. The courage of Rosha Bodhisattvas faces the archenemy of liberation. The final data is very cruel, of the Wubai people. Only Rosha followed. What were the remaining Sicilian people thinking? The answer is only two words: losing face. Face became the ultimate barrier obstructing salvation. These people used to be elites admired by others. Now they have regressed into this miserable state. To go see the Buddha means to expose one's own incompetence on the spot in front of 10,000 people at a gathering and in front of all people in the world. They would rather continue to rot in the mud than endure that moment of shame. Does this resemble that senior manager in the workplace who made a mess of a project, but locked the mess tightly in the drawer, praying every day that it would get better on its own? And those Loshi people, the sutra describes them as weeping with sorrowful feeling, crying until they couldn't stand up. These tears are extreme shame, and also extreme soberness. When a person's pain of self-falling finally outweighs the obsession with face on the balance, he truly lets go of his high status. Master reminded us, is it really easy to develop the Bodhi mind? Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva teaches people to develop the mind in the ultimate bliss world. All must be calculated by kalpas. We think entering first grade counts as being a student. Actually, we just entered the classroom. Not a single subject has begun. In this Saha world, we are wearing feathers and locks, wanting to produce a trace of pure good thought under this pot lid several kilometers thick. How difficult it is. Chapter O. Conclusion. Don't wait until the pot lid is pasted with kilometers of thickness. Today this elite self-destruction report gave us a bloody reminder. No one is immune to self-destruction. The most terrifying detail is the problem of this group of bodhisattvas existed since past Buddha, the Pankara Buddha times. They just dragged all the way, messed around all the way, from a thin layer of defensive mechanism, messed until they were pasted with kilometers of thickness of dirty things. Now please put the gaze back on yourself. In your life or work, is there any one matter you clearly know you should change in your heart, but always allow the karmic wind to blow you backwards? The reason you are still procrastinating, is it really because you are powerless to solve it? Or because you are like those 440people, just feeling that admitting failure and asking for help is too much loss of face? Illness not seeking a doctor will never get well. Real change begins from letting go of pride and admitting limitation. Must not wait until your soul pot lid is also pasted with kilometers of thickness. Thanks for listening to today's Wisdom Lantern shared by the Australian Buddha Conduct Association.